By returning to the basics, by returning to the running game, UCLA can salve its wounds from last week's loss, because I'm here to tell you, Stanford is coming to town just waiting to get a good trampling. Hi, I'm James of Faithful Angelino Sports with a preview of UCLA football against the Stanford Cardinal at the Rose Bowl Saturday. If you enjoyed talking about the Bruins, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We do talk Bruins football here. Now, if you are a UCLA fan, last week still probably carries a little bit of a sting. The Bruins, they came into Oregon, they were undefeated, they had climbed into the top 10. There was a little chit chat about Dorian Thompson-Robinson joining the Heisman race. Hell, some sports writers who claim to be on the cutting edge. We're talking about UCLA as a dark horse candidate for the college football playoffs. And then, of course, Oregon came out. They had an answer for everything UCLA could do because, to be honest, Oregon does do everything that the Bruins do. But if you think UCLA came out of Eugene a little shell-shocked, questioning itself, I don't think, from what I read, that happened. You know, quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he was really upset about the game. He was claiming that the Bruins should have won had they played well. And he's a team leader, so hopefully the rest of the roster follows suit. Because Saturday's game against Stanford is an extremely winnable game. This is not the Stanford intelligent smash mouth Cardinal of years past. I would even go so far as to say Stanford is tailor-made for UCLA, provided that the Bruins don't go into the game a fussin' and a frettin' over last week's loss. And here's why. You can run on them. It's as simple as that. There are only two teams in the conference who have allowed more than 200 rushing yards per game. Colorado is the other. Now, UCLA coach Chip Kelly, he was nice. He claims Stanford's defense has improved. In my opinion, they haven't. They really haven't. Stanford has allowed the second most points in the conference. The top tackler on the team is Levani Damuni. Now, he is 18th in the Pac-12. UCLA has two tacklers who already have more tackles than that guy does. So they don't tackle well. And they allow a gobsmack. They just allow a ton of rushing yards. They get gobsmacked by it. It is true that Stanford is on a 2-game winning streak, but honestly, those wins seem a little fraudulent. They beat Notre Dame. The Irish are definitely in a down year. They also beat Arizona State, which is struggling, absolutely struggling to recover from a series of devastating academic scandals. So what this tells me is that so long as UCLA doesn't create its own drama, as long as UCLA doesn't feel sorry for itself against Oregon last week, then there is going to be a win this week. The path to victory is as obvious as an instruction manual titled How to Stay Out of Jail. Zach Charbonnet leads the conference in rushing with 766 yards. The man averages 127.7 yards per game. In Stanford's three wins, they have held their opponent to fewer than 160 rushing yards. Basically, what I'm saying is, you give me an average performance by Charbonnet, 35 from somebody else or a group of other people, and UCLA walks out with an easy win. Now, if that doesn't convince you, if you recall from the Oregon game last week, if you remember watching it, you might have said to yourself, damn, the Ducks are running the exact same offense. And you would be right. Well, Stanford played Oregon earlier this year, and the Ducks dropped 45 points on them. Same style. Maybe the Bruins do it to a little lesser degree. Who knows? I don't want to sit there and judge that game last week because that's in the past. But I'm telling you, everything seems to be lined up beautifully for a UCLA win. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ball, the Cardinal, they're on the lower half of the conference in offense. Rushing. Passing. Total offense. So my point is, so long as UCLA establishes itself, I don't think the Cardinal will be able to keep up. But that literally all depends on UCLA's mindset. But again, UCLA knows exactly who it is. The Bruins are a rushing team. The one time they didn't rush for at least 160 yards was that near loss in South Alabama. That was early in the season when they were trying to figure out what they have on their roster. They absolutely know what they have on their roster by now. They're going to play to that type, and when they play to that type, it's going to be a wrap. It would be a massive upset for the Stanford Cardinals to pull out a victory in Pasadena this weekend. Be very confident that the Bruins get back on the right track. Now, if you enjoyed this preview, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelinos. We talk Bruins football here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. Faithful Angelinos is a Ken Corte El Queso production. Take care.